What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Future Fight. So today, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're going to kind of wrap up the kind of conversation here about the January update and pack everything into one. To be perfectly honest, I was a little pissed off when the updates got released, and I just, yeah. So anyways, let's take a look at some of the update stuff that we've got going on for January. So number one, we do have the key art released. But it's down over here for some reason. I'm not sure why that's like that. Maybe they messed up the upload on it or something. I don't know. But let's take a look at sneak peek number one, which featured characters, to be honest, nobody cared about. Like, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Let's take a look. So we get my man War Tiger over here. These were original characters created by Danny Koo. War Tiger should be, yeah, I don't know. He's getting a new costume. And then we see Shadow Shell, and if you can't really see it right here on her weapon, she's got a T and a 4. This looks like a nice outfit for Shadow Shell, for being perfectly honest. But that's what we get for the update here. I don't know what to tell you guys about these characters, because if I just want to put it into perspective for you, right? Nobody particularly cared when they came to the game. Nobody particularly cared when Blue Dragon got her T4 update. Nobody cared when Flameboy, I can't even remember his name now, got his update. I highly doubt anybody's going to care when these characters get theirs. So over on the forums, you basically get the January sneak peek, and you get to say here, this is CM Fragment of Marvel Future Fight. The sworn defenders of the Moon Temple have risen to new heights. Check out the new abilities of these Warrior of the Sky. Yeah. And you can see here, like, the ratio is just way off. Like 24 people are happy, 74 people aren't. Skip. What a joke to start the year. They did this previous years. I believe like last year in January, we also got a Warrior of the Sky update. Nobody was happy. Like, these characters are not popular. They would have went far better by giving Sharon and Luna Snow updates. At least those characters are popular. And then this is no offense to Danny Koo either. I get it that he wanted to make something culturally diverse for, the Southeast Asian backgrounds and just Asia in general, but these characters suck. Like, that's just the bottom line. Nobody really cared about these OG characters. They didn't make move the way Sharon and Luna did, so it is what it is. Outside of that, we get another update inside here, and that's for Miles Morales. So let's take a look at this one, right? So over on the forums, we basically got, this is CM Fragment of Marvel Future Fight. The spirited superhero has embraced the responsibility of being Spider-Man. Check out the new powers of this webhead. We will announce more information through the upcoming update details. I think this was even worse, right? Is that when we got that, we only got 2 update notices for this. So this is it. This is all we get. So you can see as he scrolls up, you'll see the T3 there. And then we kind of roll into this new cool looking uniform for Miles Morales, a little webbed all around with his new design, and a little mask cover up in his face as he falls in and just flips off over there. So Miles Morales will be getting his T3 in this update. So let's talk about that really quickly. The one thing that I like about the fact that Miles Morales is getting his T3 right now is the fact that Into the Spider-Verse 2 is scheduled to come out later this year. I believe it's like May or June, so it's like a summer action flick. So the hope for me is that with Into the Spider-Verse, we end up basically with a T4 Miles Morales. I think this would be the most beneficial thing. So if you see these characters, it's really weird, right? Because Miles Morales basically comes to the game, right? And he gets this new uniform. He didn't get an awakening or anything like that, right? So this is what we basically have for the character, right? Like, it is what it is. You get this uniform that was largely used as a support for Carnage and the symbiotes, right? Like his leader ability, you can see it was like applies to Carnage, increase all basic attacks, blah blah, decrease basic damage received by 20%, and then the debuff. So this was largely meant for Carnage. He became like, it is so weird that they made Miles Morales a support character to Carnage, but that's what ended up happening with this character. Outside of that, we did have the Into the Spider-Verse uniform for Miles Morales, which, you know, it was a decent uniform, I think, for the time. It wasn't anything necessarily, you know, groundbreaking, but the truth of the matter is that Miles has just kind of fell off to the back end of the bus. And the truth of the matter is I hate to say this, but in the current meta, having a T3 character really doesn't mean shit. Like, what could we expect hopefully with this? I think I watched a video of Cynic Alex over the weekend, or Beast Mode, I think, said it, or I don't know who said it. I watch a lot of the content creators for Marvel Future Fight, and like I said, I occasionally content create for us. But basically is the thought that we could end up with the same thing that we had with Black Widow, where we essentially get the costume on the front end and then we get the upgrade on the back end. Now that's anticipating that Miles doesn't really receive any new uniforms inside of the Into the Spider-Verse 2 movie, which kind of really hard for me to believe that he won't, but it could happen, right? Like, it could be that we don't get anything for Miles Morales at all. I just don't see that as a possibility. Like, the uniform that they show inside the trailers alone is a uniform upgrade, or I guess, you know, a little bit distinctive for the character in of that, right? So it would make sense that we would even see something for him. Like, let me see if I can pull this up real quick here. This is the Into the Spider-Verse trailer, and you can see this uniform that he's wearing right here. Just it's not like a big difference at all, but it's like, you know, it's enough that you could see this being a uniform in the game that they could sell you. I mean, they've done it time and time again with, you know, with Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man and stuff like that. So it's kind of hard to believe that we won't get another uniform for him later on. But the bottom line is that he's going to get a tier 3, and it's going to probably be a wasted tier 3. That's just the truth of the matter, because like we saw with Polaris, unless the character's just strictly support, then it really ain't gonna help anything. And maybe that's their plan, is that he's gonna get this tier 3. They're gonna give this uniform to him, and then he's just gonna be you can switch out to the old uniform and basically use him as Carnage support still. I don't know, but like, the bottom line is I'm a little, like, at this point with Marvel Future Fight, I'm a little done with the if you know kind of routine of it all. Like, at this point, if you know and if you're ignoring it, then you're ignoring it. We still don't have a tier 4 for Shuri. We still don't have a Black Panther tier 3 uniform, tier 4, tier 3 uniform for Shuri. We still don't get a Black Panther commemorative anything, you know, for the game. And then here we are with Miles Morales, and it's the standard, you know, Marvel Future Fight kind of thing. If you know, then you know. I'm not sure how long I'm just gonna keep saying that. And then we get the two characters over here, and War Tiger, he gets a uniform inside there. I don't know what to say about this character, for real. Like I don't know what to say. Like, nobody cares about this character. Like, I hope they make major improvements to him. Same thing for Shadow Shell. I liked her look and stuff like that, but in terms of like anything that I use those characters for, it was primarily just for, you know, Shadowlands clears. That's it. I don't think that that's going to change in any shape, form, or way. And while she will fit the meta in terms of like giving us another character, tier 4 character, realistically, if you had to look at this character, she is a universal female superhero. Keep that in mind. She is a universal female superhero. I want you to keep that in mind. Universal female superhero. So if we were to break down her elements over here, and we would say universal superheroes who are females, well, we can't, I guess I can't do that in this one. So universal females, right? So out of the universal female group, she will be the first in the bunch, because we don't have a tier 4 universal female now, or We do, but we don't. Like in terms of like, you know, Jean Grey basically having to go back to her Marvel Girl uniform in order to get a universal female. She's not going to probably eclipse Jean Grey. And then we look at some of the other characters that we can conceivably see getting universal females, especially that would get can I do it here? Nope. It's just those. Okay. I thought it would be able to do like females inside there. I thought I could. But basically, if you were to look inside there, she's basically, in terms of female support characters that are at the universal tier, there's not a lot of competition in there for her for the universal characters. So you basically are looking at maybe if they keep Scarlet Witch, I can't really see them coming back to Athena. I don't see that happen. Obviously, Medusa, yeah, that shit's definitely not happening. She basically passed away in the movie, so can we see her coming in here? Maybe we could see her making her transition into the Valkyrie role that she did in the comic books and getting a tier 4 there. I think that would be absolutely nice. And then we look at some of the other characters that are here for female superheroes, right? And it's not a whole lot. Like, I mean, Quasar, come on, for real. So in that regard, she will make a big imprint for the universal role, because much like Magneto, there's just not a whole lot to choose from in terms of universal female superheroes. So she should at least have some form of impact there. They would have to basically introduce new characters that are universal females for this to really, really be impactful. But I just can't see like any of the current female universal hero roster basically getting any type of pop and shine within the next 6 months to a year without them introducing anything. The only character here out of the bunch that you could reasonably say would get a T4 and probably, like, you know, make headway into the game would probably be Jane. I could see her getting her Valkyrie uniform if they went that route and giving her tier 4 there. But you know, and maybe we roll back around and she stays as a superhero, but nothing quite moving there. Unfortunately for Miles, if we go back inside his uniform look to his previous uniforms, right? So like, let's go back to his previous Into the Spider-Verse uniform, and then you can take a look at the character. He was Speed, right? And even with his all new, all different uniform right here, he was also Speed. So he could make the change back to Speed, and then in 6 months, we'd basically see Into the Spider-Verse kind of new update Miles and maybe get a tier 4 here. But to be honest with you, I see them tier 4ing the Speed type character in terms of, I see them tier 4ing like Spider-Man way before that, like just truth of the matter, right? So, and I don't see them having Miles eclipse Spider-Man at all. If you know, then you know, right? War Tiger sits in a very atrocious place. Like if you were to look at this character and you were to look at his uniform, he hasn't had one yet, so it's great that he'll be getting a uniform overall. But if you were to absolutely look at the character, right, absolutely say I'm gonna look at the character, he's got his awakening inside here, right? So awakening, yay, he gets a uniform, and he just, that's it, he's just getting a uniform. No need for a tier 4 for my man or anything like that. And unfortunately, he sits within that same wheelhouse. Like he's probably in the most, like the most reason for you not to touch this character, even purchase the uniform. If you were to go inside here and you would look at the combat class who are superheroes, so just look at the combat class who are superheroes, right? You still got like a who's who, so like a plethora of characters inside here that you could actually combat class. Captain America is tier 4, Venom is tier 4, Moon Knight is tier 4. So you start to get down the rabbit hole of like all the combat classes that they've just kind of like flooded us with over the past, like, you know, 6 months since they introduced tier 4, and he's really just off to a bad start. Awakening kind of class character doesn't really move the needle in any shape, form, or way. So, and realistically, when you start to think of if they continue down the right route of tier 4 or tier 3, you know, combat class characters, you still got, you know, the mutant Wolverine, who's supposed to be making an appearance inside Deadpool now. So we probably are gonna get Shang-Chi 2 or some form of this guy back on horizon. I've got to imagine Crescent is gonna be getting a tier 4 at some point in this same year. She-Hulk series has been canceled, so whatever. So like the problem here though is, like I said, is that I don't really see room for these characters. So all in all, we get a very, very lackluster January update, because realistically, if you are a free-to-play player, I say there's really reason here for you to just penny pinch the hell out of your dollars and not invest in the game here. And I'm hoping that there's, like, you know, the really bad part is that I'm hoping that there's nothing afoot here, because unfortunately, you know, seeing 2 updates in a January update, I get it that, you know, we had Christmas and then you got New Year's, and so maybe the team hasn't been all there, but you got to remember that inside these cycles, these developments don't happen within 30-day cycles. This is a development that would have been, you know, 60 to 180 days out in terms of planning, right? Like, so it's weird to be thinking about it that this is what we got for, you know, January, because things would have been on the back burner. Yeah, they might have been finishing things up, but this is where it was. So what I'll leave you with is the actual key art for the January update, because it does actually look really good, and it's really cool that the key art also includes Flamebird, I think it was his name. I can't remember what my man's name is, but basically here goes all of the warriors of the sky. So you get them all in there. It's Blue Dragon, Flamebird, what, a Sunbird, I think. I can't remember my man's name. Shadow Shell and War Tiger. And it's a really cool, to be honest with you, it's a great looking key art update. And then you see the Mighty Morphin Dragon Ranger that they have in the back that appears when they all do their, you know, awakening summon skills or their T3s. So it's really cool to see that in there. It's just, and you know, Miles Morales is just thrown off to the side. He's not, Miles isn't even in the key art. Like, think about that, guys. Think about that. I'll finish the video off with that. Think about that. It's an update key art, right? It is literally an update key art, and it has characters who appeared literally like 6 months ago. Miles Morales, who's not even in the mid-month, right? He's not the mid-month update, so there's no reason to hide him. He's not even in the fucking key art. He's not even in the key art. This is almost like akin to Disney putting out the Star Wars posters in China and just leaving John Boyega off them completely. He's not even in the fucking key art. Like, Jesus Christ. All right, guys. Sorry. A little disappointed there. If you know, then you know. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, peace.